He's also working on research, working on patentable ideas, filing patents, which I thought is amazing because if that R&D streak is not there in analytics, you cannot survive. You have to constantly keep a watch on what is happening in the world and consistently try ideating, write down those ideas, see whether you can actually implement it, file the patent for Dell, for yourself, or for the company that you're working. And then maybe one day these patented ideas become commercializable. And I'm sure because when I was initially connecting with Dell for analytics, support, etc., they have unanimously, a lot of them in Dell unanimously suggested Ravi's name, right, to help us with the program. So that means he's really respected within Dell for the kind of analytics products that he has built for Dell, which is great. And I think we are so glad that you are there, Ravi, for us helping. This particular module is very, very important because Praveena, no, incidentally, he's leading a project which is on humanoid for Reva University and Race.
Oh,
So
wow.
I think, yeah, so there are about 4, 5 people who have been working in and out, but Praveena has been consistently been working on solving the issues. They have reached to some stage. They have built the lexicon based or naive based, and I think the fuzzy matching systems based Q&A system. We can't say it is NLT or NLG. It's more of matching the questions and answers. We have it in the corpus. She is able to help the team to build. There is a UI. Maybe Praveena, you can also talk in the class. Where have you reached? What are the challenges? There is a small UI that we can, but it's still in making. But we are hoping that we can create similar things and better this for educational institutions or similar areas where we can create a generic conversational AI product. That is the intention. Anyone else is working with Praveena from this class? I think Purnima to some extent.
Yeah,
Uh,
Purnima is working.
yes,
Srihari was working.
yes. Srihari is there. Huh? Srihari has been there. He's missing. So this class is so important for that particular project and hoping that it will help everyone else. It's a continuation of the previous class, which is on text. And this is generally, I think this is one of the large area of opportunities as well. You
Yeah.
can master conversational AI, human machine interface, in especially in the language field. Amazing opportunities. Ravi, I'm sure a lot of patents you have in this field only. So we can discuss all that.
Sure.
So over
Sure.
to the class and hope that you have an amazing learning experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shinu, for the kind words and a great introduction. Yeah, also thank you for the opportunity to, also share my knowledge and also interact with the students. It's always been a great experience for me as well. In fact, working with the students on project ideas and other things also leads to my development as well, intellectual development. It's a great opportunity overall. So, correct. This topic is I'm very passionate about it. The first patent I filed, so I think almost like 6, 7 years back, was actually a chatbot. I will be talking about that today at a high level as well. And again, this area of conversational AI, even though there are a lot of books and articles and other things which let you teach, which share with you the way to create these chatbots, and they're really good. But I personally feel that this area is very open to innovation, right? You can come up with whatever knowledge you have, basic knowledge of NLP and other related fields. There are multiple ways you can create a chatbot, right? So my one of the aims in this course is enabling all the students here to kind of think of how to come up with their own ideas for a chatbot or a conversational agent, right? That's the whole idea. So I hope we have almost all the students in the class now, right?
Yes, sir, we almost do.
Okay, okay. Then we'll start. I'll actually the first like few minutes, I think 5-10 minutes, we'll just do a quick introduction. I also so it'll be great if all of us can come on camera. I prefer students because this is a virtual class. I'll prefer if everyone is on camera, and we can start with. I'll call out from my list of names I have on the teams here, right? So if Noor, if you can start your introduction.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. Uh, yeah, I'm working as a consultant at Sony. I am working with uh, edge devices and deployment majorly, and I have an overall experience of about 3 years and almost 2.5 to 3 years in this field. And the main reason why I took up and taken AI course is that I just wanted to dig deeper into this subject and understand how basically we build models and how the things work behind. So that is the reason why I took up the course, and yeah, it is going great.
Okay. So what tools, coding languages, anything which is your favorite you have done in the past, or even in this course you have picked up and you really like it?
Uh, Mostly, I've been working with Python and Flask, also Docker to some extent when it comes to deployment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I am more fascinated towards the hardware part, uh, like NVIDIA Jetson Nano and Raspberry Pis.
Hmm.
And mainly, I work with computer vision projects, so cameras are also involved.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Okay. So I'm assuming Python definitely is involved in a lot of these things, right?
correct. Yeah.
Thank you, Noor. Great to have you in the class.
Thank you
So
so
can we have Purnima in introducing herself? Oh, I think she's offline.
No, sir.
Okay, okay.
So this is
Please
Purnima.
come on video mode, everyone. We haven't seen you for ages. Okay. Okay, Vinay, got up now? Please. Okay.
Yes. So go ahead, Purnima.
Yeah, so I'm working as a Java developer in SAP currently. I was at
Mhm.
Accenture previously. So I have almost around 4 years of Java backend development experience.
Mm.
And here I joined because I wanted to upgrade my career with data science and artificial intelligence tech. Like I started working with Python and many of the machine learning models here. So
Okay.
that's it.
Okay. How are you finding Python and its usage, machine learning models, etc.?
So it's more.
Because you are a Java developer, just wanted to have a first-hand feedback or your experience on how do you find it different, easy, hard?
So Java is like if you want to do something like we have to have a framework and we need to have multiple objects created. But
Hmm.
when it comes to Python, right, it's very easy to handle. So there is no like something like class and object definition unless we need explicitly to do that.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
one advantage.
So that's pretty accurately put there, right? That's something which a lot of people I have met have given the same feedback actually. So okay, so Dr. Shinu just mentioned. So I think you the class has had a text mining or a text analytics course just before this, right? NLP.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Thanks, Purnima. So Pravina.
Hi, sir. Hi, everyone. Good morning. So, I am Pravina. I have almost 11 years of experience in the IT field, mostly Microsoft.
Mhm.
Currently, working as a data engineer in Azure Data Factory and Databricks. So my strengths are PySpark and SQL. So the motivation for me to join this course is I had a data scientist team who is always working with me, uh, speaking about the machine learning and the algorithms, all those stuffs, and we would only provide the data to them after doing some engineering stuffs. So I wanted to know more on that field.
Sure.
That's the reason I wanted to upgrade myself for for the betterment for my career and the market standards. So that I have joined this course, and which is more helpful for me. Now, based on this, I have moved into the in the same project. I have moved into one of the project where recommendations engine has been. I have been involved in the recommendation engine.
That's great, Praveen. And also, let me tell you, your background of data engineering, your knowledge of PySpark and SQL is very valuable for a data scientist.
Yeah.
So that's an advantage. So it's a great combination you are now building up. The set of skill sets you have, right? So
Yeah.
best of luck.
Yeah. Thank you.
I will call out Ritvik.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
So
Morning.
I'm Ritvik. Good morning. I'm
Yeah.
Ritvik. I'm basically from Bangalore, and I
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
total of 7 years experience.
Okay.
All my experience have been working with Excel, like MS Excel. So
Mm,
I'm very good expert in Excel, creating dashboards, reports, macros, and
okay.
everything. So currently, my role is that of a portfolio analyst, where I take care of a finance team where all the forecasting of hours, effort, cost, budgeting, and all is involved. So
Uh-huh.
my personal interest and passion was to get into a technical field which has a very good scope, and
Mhm.
artificial intelligence and related fields were some of those topics which like pulled me towards them. So that's why I'm here.
Okay. I great skill set you just mentioned, right? Excel. What is your favorite kind of work in Excel? I mean, do you love doing a lot of if and other conditions, concatenating things? And I'll tell you the reason for that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Why?
do. I do. I do
Okay,
like
okay,
that.
okay. So the thing is, I have seen, including myself. So when we have meetings with our stakeholders or business partners, when we are presenting to them, right? It's not usually we don't show them the code or we don't in front of them implement something in Python. We usually use Excel sheets and we have the data and we kind of do a lot of these ad hoc calculations using Excel formulas, right? So Excel skill set is definitely a must have for folks. So it's definitely good skill set to have in this area where the new area where you are now coming to. It's a related area, right? So again, best of luck to you as well.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ritvik. Next, we'll have Santosh.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Hi.
I'm Santosh. I currently work in SAP Labs as a lead Java developer, and I
Hmm.
have close to 10 years of experience. And
Hmm.
I wanted to move to data science field, hence I've chosen this path for MTech. And actually, recently I got an opportunity as a fellowship opportunity in my organization, and I'll be working on solving some real-time data science projects.
Okay. Are they related to conversational AI?
Yeah, maybe I can bring that in as well in the product. It's a
Okay.
newly started project. It's a e-commerce
Okay.
website platform they're trying to build, and so I can improve the like search capabilities and
Sure.
chatbots, as well as the recommendations. All these things I can bring in.
Definitely. E-commerce is an area where chatbots and conversational agents are quite popular, right?
Yeah.
So thank you, Santosh. Any other points you're trying to make?
No, sir. Yeah, chatbot is like really needed nowadays in anywhere. So I also saw real-time applications where there is no human is interacted. So directly system will take a decision and give an example. I saw in the BB Daily, their
Yeah,
example, if
yeah,
the item is not coming, like if you just chat, it automatically refund our money. Earlier, it maybe around a few last year, there was a they will connect to a human, and that person will contact the conversation will have, and after that the refund will initiate. But I see more and more conversation AIs are like automatic now, like system is take a decision and
Yeah, the reason I'm laughing is just 1 hour before this call, I was on Swiggy Instamart chat for a refund, and it took me 20 minutes because it was a human. So,
Oh, okay.
so yeah, definitely, yeah, this class is very, very important. Now you get it like a lot of applications. So thank you, Santosh.
So,
I would request Shippriya to come, and cameras are actually recommended. Please don't feel shy. I will be on camera the whole time myself.
Hi, Shipriya here.
Hi.
I work as a data scientist in Philips in the supply chain space. I have been working in the finance domain, now in the supply chain domain. So most of our work is not related to text, obviously, except when it comes to vendor profiling, something like that. Mostly it is with respect to optimization, calculation of lead times, maintenance of inventory, etc., etc.
Okay.
So that is a space that I'm widely involved in. So I got interested in the masters because I wanted to further my skill set and understand the AI space better. So uh, honestly, the conversational bot is something that's really interesting for me to see because that's the only space where I find that it's how do I say this? Most of the time if you observe with some of the interactions we have had now, everybody has an intelligent bot in their corporate or when you're interacting in e-commerce sites, etc. So you will observe that it's only as good as a like a lookup and then some answer is given, right? You sometimes do not get the answers that you want even in your HR space. So I feel there's a lot of improvement potential there. So very happy to know your views. Yeah.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Yeah. So just one quick question. You are from the finance and the supply chain domain, right? So
Yeah.
what kind of problems do you handle the most in terms of data science problem statements? And when I say problem statements, I would say what kind of techniques do you use, right? So I'm assuming it would be forecasting.
Yes, of course. Planning and forecasting is one of the key uh, work that we would do in supply chain. And apart from that, we'll also do, let's say, risk ratings of suppliers, components that you hold, etc., vendors,
Yeah.
customers. Whether you receive payment on time, whether your logistics providers are, sort of adhering to the dates, etc. So reliability, volatility of the dates as well as the payments as well as all the other aspects. So that would be the key focus. For finance, it would be more into risk exposure. It will be to P&L impact, and as well as some majority of finance also has automation of reading invoices, documentation, automatically reconciling bank documents, etc., because that is one of the biggest challenges that you have. There are miles and miles of supporting documents and you need to verify them, you need to do self audits. So that would be a big space.
Okay. That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much. But one last question. Do you have experience in Python or including this course? I'm sure you would have done things in Python.
Of course, I didn't code before this, to be very honest, not much, but I got into Python just for the sake of data science. So now I know Python and R. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Python and R. Thank you. Thank you. Soumya, yeah, please go ahead.
Good morning, Ravi sir.
Good morning.
So, experience-wise, I have total 18 years, 18 plus years of experience,
Yeah.
and out of which 11 or 12 is pure technical. That was mostly into Java, J2EE, and the web-related technologies and databases.
Hmm.
And after that, I'm looking after managerial aspect. Means I'll say techno manager role.
Hmm.
Currently, I'm working with Macmillan Learning, looking after the whole center of the Macmillan India. Uh, I'm mostly involved into the governance, delivery, and technical roadmap, and
Okay.
getting the things executed. And my motivation for this MTech course is I love to solve problems, and it gives me ultimate satisfaction when I'm able to write some code and which is working. So, and I have had some stint with data science earlier, in 2001 when we completed our final year project, engineering project. So my professor gave me project on. I'm basically an electrical engineer. So
Hmm.
that was fast voltage estimation using fuzzy neural network. So
Okay.
and we failed miserably. So writing that piece of code.
Okay.
Uh, After several years, I realized the importance, and that was first exposure. Second one was with Fidelity, working with Fidelity in around 2010. So they wanted to automate the investment process for various clients. So client is getting older. Let us invest into safer options like bonds rather than equity. So they wanted to automate that. I automated that. That was also mentioned in BBC UK as and it company launched it as a separate product with name FutureWise. So there was an idea of using data science. So we couldn't use it because of the data not being very much available. Uh, Only thing we relied upon was the date of birth and anniversary date, some particular date on which we should be carrying out switching of the funds. And after that, I had some other exposures and stints in data science. Currently, we are trying to work on OCR project. So for a student, the instructor will pose a question, and there are certain students with disability, with special needs. So for them, we are trying to pick the text from the PDF and read out to them. So that is very simple use case. Now we are trying to add the in addition to OCR, we are trying to predict the text. That is the second stage. So
That's very, very interesting. We'll probably pick up your project for a discussion in the class also, right? I
yes,
mean, whatever you can share the information.
sure, sir.
Thank you.
However, the challenge is that it is going very slow.
Okay.
I
No
mean,
problem. We'll discuss, and if you have any things, we can probably as a class discuss and brainstorm on it, right? One question. I'm sure you are coding in Python.
yes, I am pretty comfortable.
Very good. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. So Vara Prasad, can you introduce yourself, please?
Sir, good morning, sir. I am
Hi. Good morning.
Varaprasad.
Hi.
Uh, I am basically electronics engineer and I am working in BSNL for last
Okay.
15 years, sir.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I'm electronics engineer myself, so great to have you on the call.
Yes, thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
And
Go ahead, sir. Yeah.
I am mostly interested in electronics, little projects doing.
Yeah.
Because of that interest, I give a small bit of information to, regarding Raspberry based on Raspberry Pi. We can use like this cloud-based solution, and it is as a edge device. These Raspberry Pis, like that implementation is given for humanoid project in our college, and bag of words and lexicon development also done. And my previous experience is from landline exchanges maintenance and mobile creations and this is CDMA creations. And now I am working in MPLS now. And now recently, one of our project, they asked to implementation. Recently, 2 3 days back, AI we can to incorporate for self healing of the network issues. It is very particular case for thousands of customers. So that how we implement like that. Recently discussion is happened. So we have to take data and we have to make a database like that. Simple words I told, but it is not live network. They are not ready to implement like that. I want to know in that area. And regarding this present topic, I hope it is very helpful in humanoid also. I think so. That is I want to tell you.
Thank you, Mr. Varapshad. Great to have you in the class. You have some experience in Python. Just wanted to check.
Yes, sir. Presently in our classes, all this is only experience. Previously, little bit only experience to extracting the router informations and all those things I did before joining MTech, sir.
Okay. Great. Thank you. So we will, yeah, to your point, in this class, my whole aim for this class is all of us should get an intuition on how we can build conversational agents, right? That's my objective of the class. Assignments and tests are there, but yeah, that's fine. But that's my end goal here. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay, so I think Vinay is Vinay Rajgopal. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Morning.
My name is Vinay Rajgopal.
Right.
I work as a chief technologist for Red Hat, bringing over little over 20 years of overall experience.
Okay.
Started as a product development guy, again from the background of electronics and communication engineering.
Okay.
Uh,
Great to have you. Yeah.
At Red Hat, I'm responsible for partner ecosystem. So I work very closely with ISVs, independent software vendors, and help them build on Red Hat. And then that becomes the fabric for the go to market. So we not only help them build on Red Hat, but we also take that to the market and see how we could co sell. And I work very, very, very closely with a lot of startups, a lot of unicorns, anyone who has a piece of software to sell. So, from a conversational AI and chatbot perspective, I work with a couple of very promising Indian organizations around the fintech space. One
Mhm.
being Gnani.ai, who's the
Mhm.
India's only regional language NLP.
I have heard of them on LinkedIn. Some posts, a few
I
posts.
could,
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
if you're interested, I could connect with them, sir. So I work with them,
Sure.
and I also work
Okay.
with
Awesome.
an organization called Senseforth. Senseforth.
Even that is known name actually from probably from LinkedIn. Yeah. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So with Red Hat predominantly right from operating system to the orchestration, the container orchestration tool, we have our synergies to kind of establish and make sure that the partners build on us. For example, OpenShift is built on Kubernetes. So anything that comes from how do I deploy, how do I package my application, right? That becomes of prime importance for us. So we work very closely with these organizations to kind of package, containerize their applications, get the right deployment models, and so on and so forth. So we're a platform company, and we value all the ISVs who bring business workloads on top of our platform. So that's what I'm responsible at Red Hat.
Very interesting. Thank you. Python experience. I'm sure you have something for sure.
Yes, yeah. I don't code because I'm in a very senior
Yeah.
role.
Mhm.
But the purpose that I joined this course is to get a bit of a hands-on, and I've been very
Yeah.
fortunate to have started it along with the course, and I've been picking it up as much as I could.
Yeah, in fact, I'll tell you, and you would agree with me. I hope that even when for senior folks also, hands-on coding can be fun. So
Yeah.
that's the idea, right? So I
Yeah.
agree that not everybody needs to code, but it can be fun implementing these things. Obviously, the course itself, which you have joined, is pretty hands-on. It's an MTech in AI course, right? So the whole course will be pretty hands-on, and I hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah, and that was the whole purpose, and I'm liking it so far, enjoying it, getting my hands dirty, and looking
Okay.
forward to this.
Sure. Thank you, Vinay. I think that's it for the class. I do not see some folks because I have the list here. I think Ashutosh is not there. Kathireshan RS is not there. Then Sandeep Raghavendra, he's not there, right?
No, sir. Sandeep is not there.
Okay, and Shri Hari Shastri is not there as well. So I think three people are or four people are not there, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so if we can check with them if they can join, if possible. It's great to have an introduction on the first day itself. So
So some
go ahead.
students told they'll not be able to join today. So
No worries, no worries. Okay, fine. So
So,
we have it. Yeah.
Sandeep might be traveling from client location. I mean, I'm not sure, but mid of week we were discussing, and he told me he's at client location.
Acha, so no worries. So he can refer the recording, I'm sure. He will be joining
Operation
future
will
classes.
join in another 15-20 minutes.
Okay, sure. So make a note of it. Okay, so we can start. Yeah. So yeah, I just was noting down when we were having the introduction. So anyway, this is an MTech in AI course, right? So I see quite a varied background here, very interesting, and I think I see computer vision experience, Java plus Python experience, PySpark, SQL experience, MS Excel experience, electronics communication background folks as well, right? So I think this is pretty interesting, and all of you, I'm sure, in your profession, in your company, would find some applications of conversational agents for sure, right? So the one idea is some portions of this class we would try to identify use cases which you can take the learning from this class and go ahead and implement. I have shared a slide today on the email ID. I hope all of you have received it. It's shared around half an hour back.
Sir, I'm going to share it again. I don't
Okay.
think it's.
Oh, but it actually, is it like lying in my? No,
No,
it,
no,
it
sir. I'm going to share it again. I don't think so.
okay, because it's lying in my sent email box inbox, and
Yeah, sir. You sent it to me. I'll send it to the class.
okay, sure, thank you. Okay, so I will share my screen. Just give me a second. Can you see the slide? Can you all see the
Yes.
Yes,
slide?
sir.
I'm going in slideshow mode. Let me see. Let me know if you see the slideshow mode. Is it the slideshow you're seeing or the slide sorter view? It's normal for you guys?
Yes.
Slideshow mode.
Okay, thank you. So, I the first question. So this course is about conversational AI. I have shared with Dr. Shinu, and I'm sure it's uploaded on your LMS as well, about the objectives and the some things we'll cover, right? I will. I have just given a high level overview. We can deep dive in some of those things and just touch some of the things at a high level. As far as what I see in the industry trends, I would give more weightage or spend more time on things which are really useful for the industry, right? And some theoretical aspects are required, which I'll just touch upon. But good thing is, some of you mentioned, right? For all of you, the NLP class has just ended, right? So NLP definitely is an important thing here for this conversational AI class as well, right? So I would start with a bit of history. So, and why are we looking at history? Because there is something called this course is called conversational AI, right? And I've heard a lot of people talking about chatbots while they were doing the introduction. So we will understand first on conversational AI versus chatbot. What is it that it means when you say a chatbot versus what is a conversational AI? Are they the same thing, or what is the difference, right? Can anybody attempt this on what do you mean by conversational AI and what is a chatbot? Is is there any difference? Your views, please. Don't feel shy. Please share. Go ahead and share with the class. I'm audible, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I
So
think just a thought here. Try to share it. Chatbots are more like which can respond to your question in a very sequential way, and conversational AIs are the ones which can understand the intent behind behind the question, and then follow up with the right sort of questions as well as responses to make sure they arrive at a meaningful conversation in context to for what the consumer or the interactor has reached out for.
Thank you. I think that's a great point there what you made, right? It's so if I sum up your comment, you're talking about the complexity and maybe the completeness of the solution, right, which a chatbot versus a conversational AI offers, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's a good point. Chatbot can probably be limited, right? And we will see how limited is defined, right? So it can be limited in its the responses and limited in the kind of areas it can address, while a conversational AI can be more advanced, right? It might not be limited, might be a bit more open, right? Open, again a technical word we'll see in this. Anybody else wants to attempt the question? Okay, so yeah, let me ask you some another question. But before that, I'll give you some history, right? So, has anybody heard of the first box here, which is ELIZA, which was created in the year 1966 by, referring my notes here, by MIT computer scientist Joseph Weizenbaum. It was a chatbot based on a limited predetermined flow that could simulate a psychotherapist conversation. So it's like basically talking with a psychologist, right? Has anybody of you heard of this? Okay, I'm assuming it's a no. So I'd like to play one YouTube video for Eliza. I think I'll need to share the audio as well, right? When I'm playing a video, let me unshare and share again. Yeah, so let me open Chrome. Yeah, so can you all hear this?
Does it understand what it's doing in the sense that we do? It's easy to leap to false conclusions, as Professor Weizenbaum discovered when he created ELIZA. ELIZA is a
Is it
computer
audible?
program that anyone can converse with
Yes,
via
yes,
the
audible.
keyboard, and it'll reply on the screen. We've added human speech to make the conversation more clear.
Men are all alike.
In what way?
They're always bugging us about something or other.
Can you think of a specific example?
Well, my boyfriend made me come here.
Your boyfriend made you come here.
The computer's replies seem very understanding, but this program is merely triggered by certain phrases to come out with stock responses. Nevertheless, Weizenbaum's secretary fell under the spell of the
to make sure that everything was operating properly. After 2 or 3 interchanges with
So yeah, you can see the whole video, and there are other similar videos for each of the things I have on the slide, right? But the idea is here, at that time in 1966, it created quite a sensation. Some people actually thought that they were talking to a human, right? That's the whole thing. But is this a conversational AI? Is my question to you. Okay, so my question is, whatever you just saw, where somebody is talking or chatting with a program, right? Why or why not is a conversational AI, and why is it just a chatbot?
It seems like it doesn't seem like a conversational AI because
Mhm.
it it cannot go beyond the words being provided, and I'm assuming the second part. It is obvious, but it's still assuming because I don't know. It was not able to understand the intent at that time.
Correct. That's a good point. It's trying to look intelligent by, as you can see here, simulated conversation by using a pattern matching and substitution methodology, right? So if you say something, it will probably use some portions of that and frame a response, right? That's one thing, and it had some tailor-made responses or prepared responses for some keywords. Like, for example, if somebody says regarding weather, it would have some canned responses which it can always throw out, right? So that's why people thought that it's intelligent, even though it had no I mean, it did not have any, even compared to a basic modern conversational agent. It was probably primitive, but it did create a lot of buzz at that time. Okay, so let's move to the next one. I will go to the slideshow mode. Okay. So next one was something called as Parry, right? And it was again, it was at Stanford a few years after that. And this was done by a gentleman called Mark Colby. And it was a natural language program called Parry that again simulated individuals thinking, right? You can check out some materials on that yourself, right? And then, interestingly, the next famous thing was ALICE, and it stands for Artificial Linguistic Internet Computer Entity. It was in way ahead of this one, or like there's a big gap between 1974 and 1995, almost 2 decades here. So, gentleman called Richard Wallace, and he created something called as artificial intelligence markup language that allow the bots to talk, but again underlying this tool or the bot was some kind of pattern matching, right? So that's the converse, that's the example, some very famous examples. Of course there have been a lot of others as well, right? Famous examples where chatbots have fascinated people, but strictly speaking they did not have any AI. They were doing a lot of pattern matching and giving canned responses, right? Predetermined responses. That's the whole idea. Now you might think that this is something which is totally gone away, but it's not. You'll be surprised, and it's not something which is it's not like wasting somebody's time. Some industries, in fact, do not need very advanced chatbots, right? I hope you agree with that. They can do their work, or they can support customers with a basic chatbot as well. Can you give me some examples where a basic chatbot could be sufficient, or something with like something which we just saw, like these three examples, or some other things we talked about? Any chatbots you have interacted with recently on any website which was basic but still try helping you out, still was able to help you out? Okay, I'm assuming nobody interacted with a chatbot recently on any website. I did hear somebody talk about a experience recently, right? Has any of you used any airline booking chatbot, or tried reaching out to Amazon customer support?
Yes, Amazon I did yesterday only.
Okay. So any interesting thing you noted in that conversation? Can you share with the class if there is something interesting?
It seemed to me pretty basic.
Mm-hmm.
Based on my input, the it will give me the results from the pre-calculated outputs or pre-stored outputs. And when I needed more help, it will hand over the call to an agent, to a real agent. I mean, so it's
Yes.
pretty basic. Looked pretty basic to me.
Okay. But do you think that some people, maybe not you and I, because I also, as I said, I had like for the Swiggy chatbot, I had to chat with a human, right? But for some people, it might be sufficient and they might not need to call the agent or talk with a human agent. Do you
Yes.
agree? Yeah.
Yes.
So that's the reason, right? Amazon or any other company, right? Especially e-commerce companies, they will have a lot of people reaching out. So even if they take away 10%, 15%, or 20%, I don't have the exact number, but I'm sure it's a very respectable number of this customer contacts to AI agents, they are saving a lot of resources. Do you agree? At the
Yep.
same time, they are also the customer experience should not suffer, right? So resources saving is one thing, but it cannot be at the expense of customers experience becoming bad. So that's the big responsibility, right? Whoever creates this, the team which creates that chatbot has to have has to keep track of the customer experience for sure, right? Because if I start posting on LinkedIn saying, okay, I went to some airlines website and the chatbot is simply not helping me, right? It's bad for their business. So that's an example. I mean, that's one. So this slide I was trying to kind of just give you a intuition behind what is a conversational AI, right? So conversational agent or conversational agent will have a conversation and it will be based on AI. Now, when AI is talked about, I'm sure in earlier classes you might have, uh, of course, I'm sure you might have covered machine learning, deep learning, AI, right? Is that correct? Is my assumption correct? So this, okay. So this conversational AI would have elements of machine learning in it, right? And a chatbot, a basic chatbot, would probably be a rule based or a regular expression or a pattern matching based tool, right? Now you can make a chatbot more complex, more kind of it will involve more features, I would call, when you add some of these AI elements in it, right? So that's something we'll see, right? But again, as I said, adding it's not always required to make a complex chatbot. A lot of the times, simple rule-based things, retrieval-based chatbots, also what they call, can work wonders, right? So we will see some examples from some typical websites today as well, right? I'm moving to the next slide. Any question on this? Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. So here are some examples I have taken from the web, right? And capable of, and I've given an example of a pretty popular chatbot. So now I'm sure you would have seen that Domino's on the website probably doesn't allow you to call them directly. It will give you the number of the store, but it is actually much easier to chat and track order with by their bot, right? I'm sure some of you have used it, right? Domino's Pizza chatbot.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
we'll see an example. We'll see a live example of that as well. So, here are some of the examples of conversational AI and chatbot. Some of these points might not make a lot of sense now, but we'll understand them as the class goes on. Let me know if there is something which is not very clear. So it is conversational AI is not only, even though we predominantly are looking at text, it can have a voice input as well, right? And text, of course, text. Chatbots mostly, as the definition suggests, are capable of text only commands, inputs, and outputs. Conversational AI can be omni-channel, can be deployed on various websites, voice assistants. This is single channel. As I said, AI elements involved in conversational AI is NLP, NLU, and contextualization, right? So intent. I think a couple of students he mentioned intent, right, which is very important portion of a conversational agent. They are able to understand the intent, why, what the user is looking for, or what the user is chatting for, right? Or what is the user sentence which they typed, he or she typed, what is the intent behind it, and then offer relevant responses, right? So that's the contextualization word. And predetermined chatbots are predetermined scripted conversational flow, wide scope, dialogue focused, continual learning, and fast iteration cycles. Okay, highly scalable, easy deployment integration with existing databases. So that's the whole thing. Some of these are deployment related, not very relevant to the AI aspects of it. But yeah. So I hope there is some clarity on what's a conversational agent versus a basic chatbot. Any questions?
The last point, we are saying chatbots are maybe related to deployment. They are time consuming and complicated building process. Uh,
Not strictly true, to be honest, right? So it might not be, see, complicated building process. Why are they using the word complicated? I'll tell you. You remember I was telling you about rule based, right? So anything which is rule based, you will have to manually keep track of rules, right? So that's where the complication comes in. So for example, if I am chatting on an airline website, airline chatbot, and I enter a PNR number, they will have to have a rule which checks for the PNR number's validity, correct? Right? So there can be thousands of rules which they need to keep track of, right? So somebody enters junk, they will have to reject it, right? So that's a complicated building process, right? So that's I just one example. So this rule based and you are constrained, right? It gives you a constrained experience. It is like limited experience. So that's why it's complicated building process, time consuming, because you have to keep track of and maintain and develop rules.
right. Got it. Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, no problems. Any other questions? Yeah, one important point here: navigational focus versus dialogue focus. Some see it again depends on the task of the chatbot, right? For a Domino's pizza, they don't want to solve any life problem you have, right? Obviously, who would go to a Domino pizza chat for that? So they just want your pizza to reach you safely, right, or quickly, right? Whatever. I think quickly is the word. So that's the whole agenda, right? So it is more of a they quickly want you to help. They show you these three options: order, track order, customer service. If you are angry with something which they have done, you quickly click on customer service. If you quickly want to know where your order is, you do track order, right? That's the and also, do you want to place your easy order, most recent order, or new order? They have pretty like they have pre-selected things there which are which you can select and work out, right? So it's more of a navigational focus. It just takes you down a path which you quickly want to go, right? Where a conversational agent might be, so probably in a some domain, I would take an example of a domain just after this slide, where it might require more information than just simply what is your order number, right? So that's where a conversational AI kind of setup is required. Okay, so I will move to the next slide. I'm hoping everybody's okay with this. Okay, so this is something which I have taken from a website called Hyro AI. I will share the link as well on the chat. So this is an example where a rule-based chatbot might not be that useful. So so as I said, chatbots can prove sufficient for some small medium businesses or large companies that want to fulfill a single task, right? So pizza delivery is a single task, right? Same cannot be true about say data heavy enterprises such as healthcare organizations, right? So this is in one example of healthcare organizations where there is a lot of information points which needs to be taken care of. So people are looking for scheduling appointments with, maybe somebody had severe cold and cough, they want to schedule appointments. So then you cannot just schedule appointments with the next available doctor. You need to understand the person has referred to cold and cough, right? So you need to match cold and cough with which kind of doctor is suitable for cold and cough, right? So that simply cannot be just rules based. You will have to have some AI portions in it where it is advanced AI, pretty advanced AI, where you are also taking a matching the doctor's qualification and other things, or doctor's expertise, with the text, and then showing relevant options, ranking them in some sort of by using some sort of rules or heuristic, and then showing it, right? So this is something which is much more than maybe just a simple task oriented chatbot. Hope you agree. Has anybody seen such a complex chatbot, experienced, chatted with?
No, sir.
Okay, so I think some of let me try to remember. I think I had used one on a book while purchasing a book, and also I think some e-commerce companies on their website have this chatbot which can, if the e-commerce, if the company is a product company, and they, some product companies, they have a lot of products, so they have this intelligent chatbot which can help you to understand if you, so for example, if we go to buy some products, not everybody is tech savvy, right? So they might not know. So take an example of laptop. Now, I work in Dell, right? So not everybody is conversant or is familiar with maybe a memory configuration or a hardware configurations, right? It's pretty technical stuff. So then what a typical customer does is they will they will mention, if you are in a physical brick and mortar store, right, you go to a Dell store on the main road, and then you ask them, I like playing games a lot, or my son likes playing games a lot, right? So can you suggest a suitable laptop, right? So do you agree that's the typical way people ask for, and not, they don't ask the shopkeeper and go and ask the shopkeeper saying, I need a 32 GB RAM laptop, right? You agree?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell me what's the challenge there? You have somebody describing in a way saying, I mean, somebody describing their requirements, and the shopkeeper or the person on the counter, right, on the Dell store has to translate that to a machine's specs, right? Isn't that a challenge?
Yes, sir. Correct.
Okay, okay. So that's something which is a very good example of where a AI conversational agent can help. So see, all these specs are basically a database, right? All these systems. So for example, a Dell model of Inspiron with a 32 GB RAM can be a row of data in a database of all the systems which Dell has, right? Now, the challenge here is somebody talking about gaming and converting that and matching it to a backend SQL database, right? So that's the challenge here. That's where a complex example of a complex chatbot which is required, right? Now, why did I give you the example? Because that's as I was saying in the morning, that was one of the first patents I had where we created I and my team created this agent, conversation agent, which was good at understanding queries in everyday English language, right? Product language, product related everyday English questions, and converted it into uh, a specific what do you call it? A specific specs, right? That's one example, right? I will talk about it in the second half today at a high level, and probably we can come up with a hands-on project. We can do something similar, right? Hope it makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we are, I think we all of us would have some idea now on what's a conversational agent, and a chatbot also is helping you in conversing or having a conversation, right? But there are some limitations there, correct? So okay, did I miss something here? No, that's fine. I think that's okay. Okay, so yeah, so let's look at conversational AI. Now, there are a lot of different kinds of conversational. I mean, based on the different factors, you can break it up or have a lot of these options, right? So versus based on the interaction mode of your conversational agent, right? Or I would just simply call it agent. Difficult to keep calling it conversational agent, right? So based on the type of interaction you are having it with, it can have text based and voice based as well. So have you interacted with a voice based chatbot?
Alexa is one example.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I was thinking somebody can should mention that. Alexa and Siri are great examples, right? How do you find Alexa? Is it reasonably intelligent?
Yes, sir. To fair extent, I will say.
Okay, can you give some examples of questions which Alexa has answered, or you are impressed with Alexa's performance?
So one simple use case is when Alexa is not able to understand, she will say, she will admit it. And if I'm asking about weather, I got the reply properly. Plus, sometimes it also gives additional information which is relevant, but I didn't ask for, and
Okay,
which
yeah,
is time to time the
that's
additional
a great
information.
point. That's a great point. Yeah, the first one which you mentioned actually is can be sometimes a limitation as well, right? Where a limited chatbot might not understand what you're asking, so it will fail gracefully. It will say, "Can you repeat it?" or "Sorry, I'm not understanding." Right? But the second point was also very relevant, right? It's something which Alexa is good at. It understands the context what you're asking, right? So, for example, if you are asking about weather, it will tell you the whole weather for the whole day, and also it will give you an hourly breakup as well, right? So it normally understands the context. People, when they ask the weather, they are not probably asking about just now, right? So that's one example. It's also again, it's also because it's product of a company, right? So it will link itself to the orders you have done in Amazon, right? And it also, you can ask about news and other things, it gives you that, right? So that's that voice based thing. In anything, anyone else wants to share their experience? Okay, but I'm assuming many of us have used Alexa or Siri, right? I'm correct in that assumption, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So next we come to something called as a knowledge domain. Based on the knowledge domain, how we can differentiate chatbot. Now this is something which I would like to be, so please, uh, I mean, this is important. I would try to explain it in simple words first, right? So what is an open domain? When you say open domain and versus a closed domain, right? Can anybody share with me example of what do you understand by these two words? Or your thoughts. What do you mean by this? Open domain versus closed domain.
Maybe closed domain is within the organizations. Knowledge article looking
Mm,
we are looking
mm,
for.
mhm.
Open domain means across the globe, like all the other sites also will fetch the information and show the results. And not sure, just thought.
No. That's a very pretty logical answer, right? So you're in fact you're correct, right? Open domain chatbots. So let me give an example, right? We just saw a couple of screenshots, right? On about that was one was a healthcare chatbot, right? In the last slide, and before that we had Domino's Pizza chatbot, right? Now both of them are one of them is a sophisticated AI example, right? One of them is probably a rule based AI. Again, it's not simple. It's even rule based AI are complex, right? But that's both of them are task oriented, and they have a fixed set of tasks, right? Especially the Domino's one, right? Domino's, as I said, would not help you in finding out the best restaurants in the town, right? It is just focused on how your pizza delivery experience is there, right? Or any pizza restaurant related queries, right? It's a closed domain kind of thing, right? You cannot ask a question like how is the weather today to a Domino pizza chatbot. Please try and see, it will give you an error, right? We can try it, actually I'll do that. So closed domain is, it's limited to a particular kind of domain, and anything apart from that, if you ask it, it'll fail, it will not be able to answer you, right? So that's a closed domain chatbot. An open domain is slightly it's like, again, open domain does not mean it's like a Wikipedia thing where it can know everything, but it basically is, it can handle queries, right? It can guide you towards things where it can talk to you. So open domain, probably a Siri and an Alexa are examples of open domain, because Siri, to most of the questions, would give you logical answers, right? If you ask about weather, or if you ask about a recipe of a food, it will give you a Google based link and other things, right? So it is kind of doing an open domain. So do you agree that Siri and Alexa are probably examples of open domain chatbots?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I hope this is at a high level clear. Open domain. Open domain is slightly challenging, as you can understand. Your chatbot is no, so it's not that if you ask something apart from pizza, it can say, okay, I do not know this, I cannot understand this, right? If it keeps saying that, then it's not an open domain. It's a closed domain chat, right? That's two ways of finding out the different kind of chatbots, right? Interaction mode and knowledge domain. Now there is goals. Now what is the goal of a chatbot, right? So how do you define a goal, right? So I have taken the example of pizza. Let's talk about something else, right? So can anybody share with me? So the Amazon chat, uh, what's the goal there? If somebody is talking to an Amazon customer care, a chat bot, right? What's the goal of that chatbot? Can somebody answer me that? Say, share your views, please.
Maybe payment related issues,
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah,
or
maybe
maybe
payment related issue.
delivery
Yeah,
timeline. It's
yeah,
supposed to be delivered today, but it is not yet delivered. That could be the reason.
yeah. So it's basically customer experience related, payment related. Specifically within that payment related issue, you are going down that path, right? So it's task oriented, right? So it see, again, a task can be something at a high level, but within that it's clearly marks out the paths for you, right? It has predefined paths. So for example, in Amazon, when the bot appears, it will show you that page where it says, okay, do you have a pricing related issue? Do you have a delivery related delay, and so on, right? So it encourages you to take paths, right? And it does those within those paths. It will try to get your task done, right? It is trying to make you happy. It trying to make you satisfied and getting your query answered, right? That's a task oriented. It cannot, again, it is not a non-task oriented chatbot. Like Elisa was the first example we saw, was not probably a good example of a task oriented chatbot, right? Because there's no task which was being handled there, right? So can anybody else talk about a non-task oriented chatbot? Give an example. And why do you think it's a non-task oriented?
Chatbots with Twitter.
Okay, how do they work? Can you share with me? I've not used them a lot. Can you give an example?
Sir, I simply will try. So
Please go ahead. Yeah, yeah,
this
and please don't feel shy in trying. I love when somebody tries. Yeah, so go ahead. Yeah.
so uh, based on the particular topic, they will pick the maybe the direction or the sentiment of the discussion, and
Hmm.
then start adding some of the conversation there.
Okay.
So they may be eccentric towards the sentiment which is ongoing, or they could be targeted at particular maybe trolling somebody or adding specific sort of sentences for.
So aren't they task oriented if they are looking at trolling somebody?
Yes, then they become task oriented. Plus, but we can have the neutral chatbots adding some random comments.
Okay. Okay. That's an example I agree with. Anybody else has good example? Thank you for sharing. Anybody else?
Amazon, the
Yeah.
Echo devices can be non or task oriented, right? So
Hmm. Yeah, eco devices, I'm just trying to remember. Yeah, they have this general kind of chatbot facility as well, right? Where can you, yeah, I think in eco Alexa is only talking, right? They don't have a separate chatbot, correct? It's a
no, yeah,
Alexa.
it's only Alexa. It's only
Alexa.
Alexa.
Yeah, that's
Mm.
correct. I agree with you. Non-task oriented is correct. Anybody else who has interacted with the chatbot, and you can even give an example of task oriented. That's fine. Non-task or task. Any example is fine. Just want to check. Have you guys seen?
Google
Because yeah, go ahead. Google. Yeah,
Google
Google.
Maps
Where?
Google Maps assistant, sir.
That's a good example. I'm just trying to remember. What does a Google Map Assistant does? Can you give us an example?
If you select a route and it will guide us until the destination. If you go away from that route also, it will immediately suggest the best route to go to that our destination routes.
Correct. One small catch here I would like to point out. That's a great example. Here the interaction is not in terms of chat or voice, right? Or maybe I'm wrong. Can you ask Google Map in between to change the route? Does it do that, or does Siri does that for you on the phone? Google Map
Google
can
Map,
can respond to your voice commands.
yes, sir, it will respond and it will not change the route. But if we are deviated from the route, it will suggest, and if the traffic is also there, it will immediately tells the other route, and we will go to other route, and again it will reroute again to normal route.
That's correct. I agree with you. That's a lot of those features are actually interactive. They are changing based on the road condition and traffic condition.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So yeah, so one small thing which is probably missing there is that specific. It is giving you feedback, right? But the complete application would be if Google suggests me. So for example, I'm going to Domlur for my office, right? And Google suggests me a path which I know that I can't go through because I have some other work, right? So I can probably, so Google gives you that option where it suggests you an alternative path, but you can reject it and still stay on the same path, right? So those are some of the other features which Google gives you, and you can probably talk to Google and say, okay, Google, show me a best path to Domlur, okay, but avoid and but I have to go through the road which this with this service station because I have to get my car checked, right? So that kind of feature will make it a true chatbot, right, where it is listening to your input and then suggesting you the best ways, right? Don't you agree?
Yes, sir. I have tried it in my car. Probably
Okay,
it
okay,
does
okay,
accept major junctions, but not specific service stations and all.
okay. Interesting to know. Can you share how do you add major junctions to the for the benefit of the class?
Say, for example, from my place, if I have to travel to Hoskote, so
Huh.
there are two ways. One is via a place called Bangalore, and the other one is via Hebbal. So
Hmm.
the usual route it shows is via Bangalore, but
Okay.
once I cross Bangalore, the traffic gets high and there are heavy vehicles which keep moving. So the better alternative for me is via Hebbal. So I use the voice command button in my car and I ask Google to change it. So it does it for me whenever I try. I have not tried other options, but this certainly does work.
Hey, thanks for sharing. That's very interesting. Even Google has amazing features actually, Google Maps. So that's and as I said, some of them are strictly not. I mean, strictly speaking, are not chatbots, but with addition of some more features, can become a chatbot, right, or a conversational agent. Okay. So that was about task and non-task oriented. Hope everybody has some idea at a high level, right? By the way, there were some folks who were not able to join. Have they joined? Just checking.
One
Yes,
of
sir.
them joined, so yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, who's that? Can you kindly introduce yourself, please?
Uh, yeah.
Okay.
Hi.
Yeah, hi.
Myself, Kadiresan.
Sorry,
I
Sandeep.
no Kadiresan.
Oh, Kadireshan. Okay, okay. Hi, hi,
Yeah.
Kadireshan. How are you?
Hi. Yeah, I'm good. Thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good too. So, Kadireshan, I hope you've not missed any portions of this thing which I was covering, right? Or you can
I
refer the.
actually I
Yeah,
missed the first 45 minutes of the class.
no
I'll go
worries.
through it maybe once the video is available.
Okay, okay. Kadireshan, can you quickly tell me about what's your background? If the whole class, just couple of minutes so that we can finish
Yeah,
it.
so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have around 18 years of experience and I'm into cloud and microservices technologies.
Okay,
So working for retail domain
okay.
right
Great,
now
great.
with Toshiba.
Okay. Have you any Python experience?
Uh, no, I learned it during this program
Okay.
only.
Great, great, great. I hope you are finding it interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting and I'm able to pick up also.
Okay. So, by the way, why am I asking everyone Python question? You might already know is that a lot of these, the most of these conversational AI agents are created using Python, right? So, obviously, by having Python knowledge is very very essential here, right? So, okay, coming back. Thank you, Kadireshan.
Thank you.
Okay, coming back to the goals portion, right? Let's talk about design approach at a high level, then take a 15 minutes break, right? Then we'll come back. But let's talk about design approaches first. So right now, okay, the word design approach, it suggests to you how do you create something, correct? Now, how do you create a chatbot or a conversational agent as the advanced version of chatbot? So you have rule based options, you have retrieval based options, you have generative based options, right? So, what is again inviting people to share their understanding on, yeah, or if you know already, it's a great. I mean, it's okay if you just can you give a maybe a 1 or 2 line explanation of what these words might mean, and then I will go into some details. Rule based, retrieval based, generative based. What these words suggest to you?
Maybe rule based are like if else kind of conditions. That word
Hmm.
is there, you throw out the statement, else the statement
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, you're correct. It's rule based is if else conditions, and then identifying some things, right, and then replying to it. Now, what is a retrieval based, and what does it mean by using a retrieval?
Maybe based on the past history. I'm not sure. Just guessing.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe it
Interesting,
is
interesting
based out
attempt.
of sorry, maybe it is based out of a FAQ kind of a database from where uh,
Yeah,
information will be pulled out and displayed to the customer.
Yeah,
there is
that's
already a dictionary for that,
mhm.
a large dictionary, maybe based on a particular application, and it tries to retrieve information out of that large dictionary.
Yeah, no, I love it. All of you are like getting it very, very correct, right? So FAQs on bank websites, right? I think many of us might have used it, right? FAQs, frequently asked questions, on bank websites or any websites, right? So do you see
Yes.
if there is a chatbot created on it, all it has to do is understand what you're asking. You're asking. So if you're asking, you're not happy with maybe probably State Bank of India, right? Okay, I have nothing personal against State Bank of India, just getting an example. Okay. I'm a happy customer also. So State Bank of India, I want to say, okay, how do I close my account, right? Just hypothetically. So if you're talking to a chatbot, all it has to do is identify your uh, intent, right? What you're trying to do. Your question is regarding closure of account, right? It can show, it can retrieve that answer from its database or from a repository and just show you answer, right? How to close it. So isn't that a retrieval based example also?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's a retrieval based example. Now generative based is we will go into in detail, but let's understand at a high level. It's generating something, right? So it is using machine learning AI at a very definitely using machine learning AI for sure, right? And it can be from various levels of difficulties, not difficulties, sorry, various levels of complexities. So it can be simple intent identification using some AI techniques, some machine learning techniques, or it can be like a GPT-3 also, right? Have you heard of GPT-2 and GPT-3, the latest language models by OpenAI? Has anybody of you heard of it? Okay. So GPT-2 and GPT-3 are very huge language models which were created in the last 2 years. Now they are able to answer questions, they are able to generate texts, right? I'm sure you are having you would have deep learning and LP courses earlier where you're generating text is also possible in deep learning, right? So they are so good at generating text that it looks like a human is talking to you, right? So they are also examples of generative based chatbots, right? There are some challenges. They are generating good text, but sometimes the text might not be logical or relevant to what you're asking, right? That's one challenge, but that's an example of generative based. Hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll take questions on this. Think over it. Take a 15 minutes break. Let's meet around 11:45 or a few minutes late also is okay with you, with me. 11:45 around that time, let's meet again. Okay. We'll take a break.
Sure, sir.
Thank you.